What's up, all day family? Welcome to the podcast. It's Brett without Lofa this time because of everything that is going on right now around here. Power outages, cell phone outages, everybody dealing with all kinds of craziness. So I'm riding solo for this one. Producer Katie's here, though.
Hey, what's up?
And I'm not exactly solo. Before you turn it off, before you skip to the next episode, we got Ed Smith, NFL tight end, and also a former major league, minor league, professional baseball player. This guy did it in both professional sports. He'll be joining us. He's on the Arizona Cardinals podcast, so he'll be giving us everything from a Cardinals perspective and why they should be absolutely afraid of the Seahawks coming into this game on Sunday. And then also tight end Noah Fant from our Seattle Seahawks sitting down. The question mainly, when will he be back? When will he be available? But also, how's the team feeling and how they're what they're doing going into this big divisional game with Arizona coming up on Sunday. At the end of the show, we will also be drawing out the winner for the Simply Seattle score prediction, so make sure you stay tuned all the way to the end. We had 3 finalists who nailed the prediction against the 40 Whiners, and so we've got to draw a name out of the hat to determine who gets the $275 gift card from our friends at Simply Seattle, and also the giveaway of the Melon hat. Shout out to our sponsor, Melon, for sponsoring this episode. These hats are incredible. I have to tell you guys, and I'm going to take off the headset to tell you, I got to get the hat off. Every time I put on the Melon hat, I find something new and different about it that I didn't know before. Today, I found this little tab that I didn't even notice was in here the whole time. It's right on the front inside where like the, what do you call this part of the hat? The crown? What is this? The front of the hat. It's inside the front of the hat. There's this little card here. You pull it out. It's just a little card, little placeholder, but it made a little pocket on the inside of my hat. Look, there's a pocket. You just stuff some cash in there. Maybe a room key if you're at like a hotel situation, you know. Maybe you put the valet card in there, whatever. I don't know. I've never thought of hiding things in my hat like an old cowboy. Maybe this is where I keep the ace of spades, Katie.
Yeah, there you go.
But anyway, these Melon hats are awesome, everybody. They're hydrophobic. They wick moisture away. They got anti-smelly technology. I'm not exactly sure what the title of that is, but they have technology that makes sure that they don't sweat and stink and smell and get all gross like any other average hat. Melon hats, everybody. MELIN.com. If you want to get your melon taken care of, go to MELIN, and we thank them for their sponsorship. Also, Delta Airlines, go with the throw. Sign up for 12status.com. No, sign up at 12status.com to start receiving 1 free Delta Sky Mile for every yard that the Seahawks throw for. You must be 18 years or older and live in Washington State to sign up.
Wait,
12status.com.
Did you do Bet Online?
No, Bet Online, everybody, the world's most trusted betting platform. Whether you're using the mobile browser, the mobile app or the web browser.
Yep.
There we go. betonline.ag. Producer Katie, you can say hi to the people if you want.
Hi, people.
You're just going to be a voice behind the curtain there? You want to say hi? There she is. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
I'm doing your lines for you. Let's get to the conversation with Ed Smith from Believe in Arizona. And he also hosts the Easy Sports Talk Show. And also, wait, hold on. Before we get there, Katie, and don't edit out the little hiccup there. Leave it in. We leave it all in. Listen, Lofa wants me to do the Cacao on this episode. What does he even mean by that?
Know.
Was it something I did on an episode of our old show? Was it an Arizona Cardinals thing? Did it bring us good luck?
It must be. Can you give me the best?
Well, in his
Seahawk
wounded
impression?
in his state of like wounded service and interrupted internet and everything, all he really said was do the Cacao without much context.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I'm doing it right, but I also don't know what I'm doing.
I just want to be clear. It says Kaaa.
Cacao!
Yeah.
Like that? Cacao! Cacao! Also, I spilled something on my sweatshirt. I'm trying to keep it down.
Okay, let's talk to Ed.
Cacao! Here comes Ed Smith. Ed, we did this last year, so thanks for being a friend of the show, and thanks for being here again. Believe in Arizona Cardinals is the name of the show. And also, Ed has the EZ Sports Talk Show, so check it out. Ed, the Cardinals are in first place, but it's only by what, a game?
A game.
And
Well, the entire conference or the entire division is almost like it's upside down right now. So
yeah, it's wild,
crazy.
right? I mean, my producers basically just want me to ask you one question, Ed. Are the Cardinals really any good?
Ooh, that is a great question. And it's so loaded because they are, in my opinion, they have the potential to be a good team. Nowhere near great, but they have
Okay.
the potential to be good. Uh, but they're so inconsistent at times, which they'll play a game like they did against the Jets, but then they'll have a stinker against Washington that makes you rethink your whole evaluation of them. So what I'm trying to do right now, I'm trying to wade through the inconsistency. I'm leaning more and more toward the side of they're a good team, definitely a well-coached team, and the organization is getting better from within. As far as talent on the field, we're not as talented as other teams. So when we have those brain cramps and don't play well, that's when it shows the most because we can't overcome some of our blemishes, So right now, I'm on the fence as far as whether they can continue on this path and pull this, run through the division off. It's totally unknown to me, but I am encouraged because the ceiling for this team to start the year was not looking good. I think it was like 5.5 or 6 was their over under, prediction for the year.
Yeah.
They've already matched that number. So for me, regardless of how it ends, they're at least, like I said, they're playing well and they look like a good team. Like I said, they're not a great team, but they're inching toward that respectability mode,
Man, it's funny times in the NFC West. Just even in the way we're talking about our teams, it doesn't feel like any of us actually trust our teams as much as we'd like to. Lofa, of course, is Mr. Seahawk. He trusts them all the time. But from a fan perspective, because the Seahawks, it's a very similar storyline, up and down. They'll win. They beat San Francisco last week in Santa Clara, and so they'll have a game like that. But then they dropped the one to the Giants earlier this year. Just ups and downs, but all over the NFC West, which is good news for all of us fans, though, because it's going to come right down to the end, right? If they are any good, what makes them good?
For me, it's the evolution of Kyler Murray, if you ask me. I think, he's taken the quarterback position when in past years, Kingsbury and everybody, it was like, here's the load. They put it on his shoulders and everything revolved around him. And he has the ability to carry, but I don't think it's for long term. I think the way Gannon and Petzing, our offensive coordinator, using him this year, it's more of a shared load. We've got the running game more involved with Connor, and Connor's a bruiser, man. He's downhill. Yeah. We've gotten Murray under center a little more, so that run game has been more productive. And then what happens is we don't need Murray to throw the ball 40, 45 times a game. He can throw it 20 to 25, maybe 200 and some chains, and then he sprinkles in his runs, and it makes him look like so much of a better like quarterback. He's actually doing more by doing less this year, and he's managing this offense. And I think that's the beautiful thing about it is that, and I've seen this in other places too, like over in Buffalo with Josh Allen. They've asked him to do more by doing less. It's almost, he still throws on the Superman cape every now and then, but we haven't asked Murray, like, go out and throw it around the yard and run around the yard. He's taken what the defenses have given him. They've had really good game plans and, moderation, keeping everything in moderation, balance. And I think that's where I'm seeing the maturation of not just Murray, but the coaching staff as well, how they're using some of these tools.
Yeah, I'm having a tough time as a Seahawk fan. I'm trying to decide if I'm supposed to be nervous about the Arizona Cardinals or not. We haven't played you guys yet, but there you are, and they're playing well, And I think what has me a little nervous is like the sort of perception or lack of perception of them, and they kind of seem to be riding that a little bit. Or has that given them like maybe a chip on their shoulder? The sort of like lack of respect, really. that they receive.
Well, I just think it's under the radar for the most part. Most teams don't know what to expect when you're playing the Cardinals, and I think the new version of them has, I won't say it's lulled people to sleep, but it's almost like they just go out there and they just play a game, and they, by the time it's done, you're like, how the hell did that happen? Because I'm sure the Jets thought the same thing. I even thought the Jets were going to come in here and pretty much with their veteran leadership put it on us, and we ended up doing that to them, and it was almost like, how the hell did that happen? And that's kind of how they've been winning.
Yeah, and I mean, it's that's what's got me nervous a little bit. Like, if they can kind of figure out, but also embrace this role, because they have the talent. We know that up here. I mean, let's stick with the offensive side of the ball. You were talking about Murray, but and Connor, because that's got me nervous, man. We've had some backs run all over us, so our run defense is going to have to come to play. But who else does he got weapons wise? Harrison Jr. and the like at
Trey
receiver.
McBride. Harrison Jr. is he's starting to get a little bit of his rookie groove now, where she's coming from college. It's a big jump. I don't care how much talent you have as a wide receiver in this league. It takes a little bit of time to get adjusted. You got guys up there jamming you on the line of scrimmage like you've never been jammed before. You're trying to read these coverages and different things on the fly. Your head's spinning while you're trying to still run 100 miles and run the correct routes at the correct depths and stuff like that. So he's starting to get a feel for the game. In the second half of the season, seems like he's getting there. Trey McBride, which is our tight end in his second year, I was skeptical when they drafted him a couple years ago. So like, we don't need a tight end. We need offensive line help. We need cornerbacks. We need all these things. Why are we going to get a tight end? Man, I'm so glad they got Trey, because he is such a weapon for Kyler. Controls the middle of the field as well. He can get on the outskirts, and I'm telling you, he's got some great yak, man. Catches the ball and he picks up those extra yards. A true asset for Kyler. And like I said, and you throw in, like you said, Connor with the downhill runs. I think what's happening with our running game, they're starting to figure out Connor is not a read option guy. I think more times than not, get him 7-8 yards deep, get Kyler under center, get him going downhill, let him pick his hole and go, rather than a lot of this read option stuff. And that's where our running game has really excelled. And like I said, you sprinkle in the other weapons, and we actually, look like a formidable offense these days.
Well, now our defense came to play, though, especially in Santa Clara there. Like I said, we're Spoon. Have you been watching Devin Witherspoon in his game? I mean,
yes.
He's going to come ready to play. He is. And they've been sending him more on some blitzes and things like that. So he's quick. Okay. He can get after Kyler. And they might be getting Jenkins back at the safety spot. He's been out a few weeks. And then Byron Murphy in the middle. When we talk about stopping the run, I mean, our defense sort of, I think, lives and dies on him being available and being in there. And we held up pretty well against the Niners. I think Lofa would say if he was a Niner coach, or if he was doing the game plan for the Niners, he would have just kept running it, because these other teams sometimes just decide to start throwing it. And I think that plays to our strength when that happens. So hopefully they lose their mind and let Kyler throw for 50.
That is one of our biggest issues. We get it to a point that early in the season, we would start running the ball and see that it wasn't necessarily working. So we got to get away from that. I keep especially with a runner like Connor, you got to put the ball in his hands 20 to 25 times, regardless of how it's going, just to keep the defense honest. And then he wears on, teams after a while, and you just got to keep pounding. So, and you can usually tell early in the game, if they're seeing success, they'll stay with it. If they don't and they abandon it, that's when the Cardinals are in trouble, because I think the running game adds so much to, I know Kyler's a great thrower of the ball and he can scramble himself, but a good running game goes a long way with this team.
How about you guys defensively going against Geno Smith and our offense?
Our defense is doing it with I won't say a bunch of no-name guys, but other than Buda Baker and maybe what's our oh goodness, why am I blanking on names here? Buda and Zaven Collins. Those are the two names that you kind of know. Like, we've given away and let more guys go over the last couple of years. And, we've had the J.J. Watts and, different guys here. They've done what they've done to this point with a bunch of guys that if you didn't know their name and you saw them out, I mean, you'd have to pull up a program to know exactly who they are. And that says a lot for this team because they have been successful. You got a bunch of guys flying around, which is the one thing I like. They're tackling and they're being consistent. I mean, as far as, we don't have a great pass rush and we don't have a great cornerbacks. We don't have great linebackers. And you ask yourself once again, well, how are they pulling this off? They're pulling it off because everybody is doing their job at the correct time. So, we might not be getting to the quarterback, but you got good coverage this time. You might throw a blitz at somebody, stop them, before they get to our, deep into our secondary. So everything is working. And then you got Budda Baker at the back end of this defense. He controls and patrols everything. So, like I said, there are a bunch of guys that are just doing it. And once again, like I said, you have no idea how they're pulling it off, but they are getting it done.
Yeah, you look up at the end, you're like, well, we have more points than them, so we win. There you go.
Yeah. Well, there's been a couple times, though, because we played Detroit earlier this year, just a few weeks ago, and you would think it was a runaway, but we actually held Detroit scoreless in the second half. We just, that particular game, we couldn't get enough points ourselves, but we've done crazy things like that. We've held them scoreless when nobody else has. We pretty much just put the slap down on the Jets, which everybody's done that, but we've had those little shining moments from this defense that lets you know if they ever put it all together on that side and offensively, this could be a team that, you should be a little leery about coming into your building.
Well, I think anytime you play a division opponent, you would probably say that as a former baller, and I know Lofa would tell me anytime it's a divisional game, you're going to come even a little bit harder probably. And what we've seen for us against the Niners, against the Rams, I mean, these games have been hard hitting, tough, competitive. I mean, look at this whole division, right? Like we talked about it. They're not even separated by much. Which Seahawks receiver will end up with more yards at the end of the day, though? DK, JSN, or Tyler Lockett, who's still there?
I'll be honest with you. Every time I see DK, I'm like, how does anybody cover that man? I mean, you look at him physically. I mean, he is just a beast. And it doesn't take, like I said, I'm surprised he doesn't have more than what he does most times because, he runs good routes. He's physical. Sometimes you can just throw it up to him. So anytime he's in the equation, I'm going to say DK should have a monster game. Now, sometimes it just doesn't work out. I don't know whether we throw extra coverage over the top or, he gets frustrated and maybe leaves the game plan a little bit. I don't know. But anytime he's out there, man, I'm just like, man, I would not want to be a little bitty cornerback or safety trying to battle with that man, 20 yards up the field. So, and then, like I said, our secondary, they're playing well, but there's nobody that I would say is like a lockdown guy back there. I think we're doing it more with scheme than we are with overall talent. And anytime you're going with that equation, if we don't have the proper scheme and your talent gets the best of us that day, it could be a long afternoon. So we'll see which side of, the coin is flipped, whether we come out and we put the lockdown on you guys on the outside or you have your way with us.
Yeah. I think it's going to be an entertaining game nonetheless, right? I mean, no matter what happens, like these are two teams that for me as a Seahawk fan, and we talked about the inconsistency, like I'm just almost taking the season game for game, right? And this game, I think, is just going to be a great game. The atmosphere in Seattle is going to be hyped. How's your run defense? You guys are ranked 21st overall defense, but how's the run D specifically?
I mean, it's middle of the road as well. That's the one, like when teams decide, and we've played some teams that have, for some reason, have gotten away from their plan of attack against us, meaning, you come here and if in most cases you can run the ball against us and you're successful, and then that opens everything else up for you. But for some reason, I don't know whether it's, Chinese or mind tricks or something like that, but we've coaxed teams out of their game plan where all of a sudden they want to try to throw the ball against us and they abandon the run. Like I said, we have games where it looks like our defensive line is on skates. Then we have other games where we're stout up front. So it is, it's from one weekend to the next. And a lot of that is because, I continue to say it, we don't have like superior talent, like, like an Aaron Donald or somebody in the middle anchoring our offensive line and great linebackers. And we don't have that. We got a bunch of guys that, like I said, if one guy is out of place or not doing his job or gets beat, there's a potential for a 2-yard play to turn into a 20 or 40 or 50-yard run because, like I said, everybody's got to be fitting exactly where they are. So that's where the scheme becomes very important. And like I said, that's just because we don't have the talent. But like I said, they've been doing a pretty good job to this point. To be at 6-4, nobody expected this. And I will kind of stamp what you're saying about this game being exciting more than anything because nobody, like, if you looked at this game early in the season, you thought it might be a 3-7 Cardinal team going against, a 500 Seattle team. The fact that we're both in the mix with, the other two teams, meaning the Rams and Niners, like kind of reeling right now. It's almost like, wait a minute, we got a shot at this. So that's going to add even more thump to this one. I remember years ago when I was playing and I was in Atlanta and the year I went to the Super Bowl, and it was one of those years where the Saints, they were like, that's our biggest rival. And it was one of those things where late in the season, that game became even more intense because they were trying to stop our road to the playoffs. And, we always hated them. And it was just, a normal Sunday afternoon game turned into like just a slobber knocker, man, because it was so intense, and that's what this one could turn into. This is going to be intense because of what's at stake.
Yeah. Well, then let's talk about how it's going to end up then. Our score prediction is brought to you guys, you listeners, by Simply Seattle, one of the best apparel companies in the entire world. They've got all of your Seahawks gear, Huskies gear, Mariners gear. They're also the world's largest Seattle Supersonics retailer of Sonics apparel. So jump on to simplyseattle.com. Put in our promo code allday15. You get 15% off. I think their website offers you their promo code right away. Tell them no, you want ours. It's the same percentage. Make sure you use the all day promo code so that we get credit for sending you there. Because I know you guys are going there because you're loyal to the companies that are loyal to us. And we appreciate you for that. But we want to make sure that they know that you're going there from us. Get it? So all day 15. You got me, Ed? You better use the right promo code.
Right? I got you.
Ed, what's the final score going to be, man? Like, how do you see this thing ending up?
I was just grabbing my sheet because I wanted to see what the spread was. And they got this one at one. This is a 1-point spread. You guys got the point. And man, that basically that means it's a coin flip for the most part, or at least that's what the saying in Vegas. For me, wow, this game, oh boy, this is going to be tight. And I think for me, I usually can tell about a quarter in which Cardinals team we're going to get. And I'm a little scared that the 12th man might have a little something to say about this up there. And we get away from our game plan and we don't run the ball the way we should. And it's not going to be a blowout or anything like that. But I just think after man, I tell you what, every time I pick Seattle, like against the Giants, you guys end up biting me in the butt. But for this week, I'm thinking this one looks like a 26-23 Seattle win. And this will be hard fought. And I hate going against my Cardinals, but I do all these. I do all these things.
You heard the struggle. We know it was hard.
Yeah,
Do it.
So I would like, I would like for them to surprise me. But for this one, going on the road up there to Seattle, I'm thinking this is probably a great hard fought loss for the team. But like I said, they can always surprise us. We'll never know.
Interesting. All right.
There.
Well, I haven't picked against the Seahawks yet this year. When they were in their slump, I thought about trying to be a slump buster and going the opposite way. I think like weather permitting, because there's this crazy stuff going on up in Seattle with the wind and the weather and all this
Yeah.
stuff. So hopefully all of that clears out by Sunday and we can get a good football game in. But so I think if the weather's not a factor, I actually think it could be higher scoring, but like you, I think it'll be tight. So I think it could be 34-32. I always just go like a weird
Okay.
score. But that'd be Seahawks. If the weather is bad, I think the scores get lowered by about 10 points each
Okay.
there, maybe. But it's still going to be a Seattle victory. Write it down, everybody. 2-point victory is what your boy is calling for. If you guys have predictions and you want to make your predictions heard, make sure you get in on the Score Prediction Challenge. We put it up on social media, on Instagram. So go to @alldayfamily, find the post. It's a collaborative post between us and Simply Seattle. You predict the score. If you nail it, you get a gift card to Simply Seattle. And every week that someone doesn't nail it, we add $25 to the pot. So thank you to simplyseattle.com for sponsoring that. And Ed, thank you for being here. Before you get out of here, though, I want to talk to you for a second about you, man, and not just about the Cardinals and the Seahawks. Just your road and you as an NFL player, man, like Frankfurt, Germany, right? When they were doing NFL Europe, to the league,
Yeah.
To the Washington, to the Falcons, to the Eagles, Lions. I mean, NFL Europe to the NFL. Like I think a lot of the younger whippersnappers out there don't remember NFL Europe. Just what was that like?
Yeah. Well, the other unique part is why I had to go to NFL Europe is because I spent the first 9 years of my career as a minor league baseball player. So I was drafted out of high school by the White Sox.
Wow.
After I signed my letter of intent to go to University of North Carolina, I was going to play both baseball and football, and to get drafted by the White Sox. From 87 to 95, I was with the White Sox, Brewers, Cubs, and Indians. So I did that road. And then in 96, went over to it was the World League of American Football. That's how far it goes back. It wasn't even NFL Europe yet. So I went over there in one spring. I made enough of a stamp, as far as my talent as a tight end. Got back here to the States and went into my first training camp that July with Washington. And then the rest is history. I had a few years in the league, played in the Super Bowl, also played with in the XFL, the first edition of the XFL in 2001. That's how I actually finished my career. So, it was a different time as far as sports, how everything is done.
Even more questions.
Yeah, no, it was a. If anybody is curious, I don't want to. I did my autobiography was published. You can go to edsmithspeaks.com. That's edsmithspeaks.com. There's a book tab. You can click on there. You can actually purchase the book that come directly from me, and I actually sign every copy and send them out. So if anybody is interested in your listeners, then go to edsmithspeaks.com, order the book. I'll sign it and send it out to you. So it gives an entire story of from start to finish how everything went through the early years of my life, through my career and everything.
Hell yeah, man, for sure. Go check it out, everybody. No, and promote that, Ed. You've had quite a life here. I mean, what were you like in high school as an athlete? I mean, if you can go baseball and football, and by the way, come back to football after so many years of baseball.
Yeah.
What an athlete you are, man.
Well, I was the tri-state athlete of the year in '87. That was for Jersey, Philadelphia, or Pennsylvania, and Delaware. And I was all honorable mention as far as tight end, all state for baseball, and all South Jersey for basketball as well. So I was I did all the sports. I did basketball, baseball, football. I was a punter. I was actually all state punter one year. So I did a little bit of everything, man.
6'4", 253 pound. At least that's what Wikipedia has you listed at. Punter.
That's yeah. I did that I did all the kicking for the team as well. So I played tight end. I played defensive end. I did all the punting and the field goal kicking and kicking off as well. The only time I came off the field was for kickoff return, I think. Everything else, I was actually on the field. That was a long time ago. Kids don't branch out as much as they do. And then every year, for all the way through my high school career, I'd finish the football season. I'd go take one day off, go right into basketball. I was on a 20-5 team and a 19-6 team in my senior year, and we went all the way to the Group 4 finals. I'd take my basketball shorts off, I'd take one day off, and I'd go right into baseball and finish out the year baseball. And then I'd play baseball all through the summer. Then I'd flip right back to football in the fall. I did that for all 4 years through high school. So
see, Ed, I have a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old, and I was at basketball practice last night talking to some other parents, and I'd love for you and Lofa and every other pro athlete that I've ever met to be standing there in that moment, because all of them are telling me that they've got to pick one sport and stick with one sport, and it's about time to pick one sport. And here I am the next day talking to you, who not only did it in two sports, but did it in two sports for a while and was able to go back to that other sport. And I mean, an athlete's an athlete, isn't it? It's a mindset, it's a talent, but it's this whole specializing thing. I mean, have you talked to parents about that nowadays? Do you know about this? And what are your thoughts on that?
Talk to them all the time. And I'll throw one more carrot out there. When I played 1 year of football when I was 8 years old, didn't like it. My mom wouldn't let me quit, but I tried to finish that year. And the following season in the fall, she's like, well, you got to do something. You're not going to be sitting around doing nothing. I went and played soccer for 5 years. So that's where I got the kicking ability. I played soccer from 9 till I got to high school. Then in high school, it wasn't cool to play soccer, so I was just going to take it off. And the football team heard about me, and they came from like, heck, no, freshman, get on out here. So that's when I got back into football. But so, I mean, between basketball, baseball, football, and then soccer, I consider myself a pretty well-rounded athlete because of all the skills I learned from each and every sport. If you just play, I see these kids out here now, all they play is baseball all year round. I'm like, what else are you developing other than, being a decent second baseman or outfielder? Basketball helps you with your footwork and your agility. Football helps you a little bit with your toughness and discipline and running routes and different things. Soccer helped me learn how to kick. Like I said, that's why I was kicking field goals and punting footballs. I mean, you can learn something from every different sport, whether it be wrestling, judo, whatever it is, do something other than that one thing. And I tell people all the time, and the other things, these kids are not professional athletes at 9, 10, 11 years old. Let them go enjoy. They're not getting paid for it. Let them go enjoy the different atmospheres, the different sports, develop, new circles of friends, everything. And stop living through your kids, trying to live your dream through your kids. Little Johnny's going to be the best baseball player ever, and that's all you're going to do. Nah, let little Johnny go do all kind of different things,
I agree, man.
Longer the days, and I'm a lot older than you, when we would have pickup games in the neighborhood, whether it be kickball, football in the street, baseball up at the school, basketball at one of the courts, or something like that. It was unorganized. We used to just get together. When was the last time you saw? I swear, we used to have my good friend Gaylord. I've known him since I was about 6 or 7 years old. He used to have the best wiffle ball field in his backyard, and we would play wiffle ball. I mean, when the time was right, we did everything. And like I said, they're taking these kids and trying to get them so into one thing too early, and it's just not necessary.
Yeah, well, and also I think the studies are out there. You guys can go find them, but the injuries too that they're seeing, because when you play multiple sports, like Ed was saying, you're developing the muscles in a different way because you're using them in different ways, and so all the muscles can be strong together instead of just those ones that are used for that specific sport. So it's common sense, and I wish more people would get the message. It doesn't seem like they're getting it out there, Ed, but you and I will try to.
Hey, the only way they will get it is if we stay on the grind, stay on the case. I'm so glad you brought that up. Just continue to try to preach that, and hopefully, if you just get it through one parent's, thick skull, then that's a victory. But the more you can say it, maybe some of these parents will see it, and like I said, and get off for this. Like I said, I see these kids out there throwing baseballs on the fields, pitching and stuff like that in December, because we're out in Arizona, just perfect weather. I mean, it never stops.
Yeah.
I'm like, when are you going to give that young man an off season to let that arm rest so he can go do something else? But we don't see it. So crazy.
Yeah. You guys can find Ed on the Believe in Arizona Cardinals podcast, also on the Easy Sports Talk show, probably also all over social media. He's huge on TikTok.
Now, if they want to see me, like my son's always on TikTok, but yeah, to go to edsmithspeaks.com if you want to check out the story and see some of the things I've done. And man, I can't thank you enough for having me on, brother.
We appreciate you, Ed. Enjoy the game this weekend, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, man.
Well, from one tight end, Ed Smith, to another, Noah Fant, your Seahawks tight end, sitting down with us right now. Thanks for being here, Noah.
Yeah, no problem.
Before we really get started, Katie, should we sing happy birthday now or wait till the end? Ready with me, everybody. 1, 2, 3. No, we wouldn't make you sing if you got Noah, but happy birthday, man.
Yeah, thank you. I've had it sung to me a couple times now, but it's been a good 27th birthday, so I'm blessed.
Yeah, but at 27, you're a vet, man. You're a leader. At only 27, but you've been in the league a bit. I mean, talk to us about this tight end room, being a vet in this tight end room, and how it's going right there right now.
Yeah, no, it's been great, man. I still feel super young, so it's like sometimes it's kind of weird being one of the older guys now. But Pharaoh's obviously a vet also. He's got 2 years on me, and then just having some of the younger guys of like AJ and Brady, Tyler Mabry is like those guys are all great, and all their special characters in themselves, and so it's always a good time. But I think that the special part about our room is like each guy is like has that leadership quality in them, so it's super easy to lead amongst men that are already leaders in themselves and holds the room to a high standard. So it's been a really good time.
Is it just a Seahawks thing, or are all tight end rooms a bit kooky no matter where you go?
No, I think that's everywhere. To be honest, I think you tight ends are just have this way about them that they have good personalities and good sense of humor. So you get asked to do some of the dirty things on the field, and you also have to be able to make plays in the pass game, stuff like that. So you just have to have a light heart and be able to keep it lighthearted, and I think that's what makes it so fun.
That's my opinion. You guys do so many different things on the field. You catch, you can get handed the ball, you block, obviously. You play teams a lot of the time that you have to learn to get along with everybody. And so, you can be silly and outlandish and be serious and be this and be that. And you kind of jack of all trades, I feel like.
Definitely.
Hey man, so the mood in the building right now. I mean, I'm still trying to come down after the Santa Clara game. You guys taking care of business down there. How's everybody feeling in the building despite the power being out today?
Yeah, it's been something else with the power being out, but I think guys are focused. Honestly, I think that was a much needed win for us in Santa Clara, and it's something that's been super exciting for our whole team. Obviously, breaking that streak and taking a win in the NFC West is something that's huge, and then playing this week against the Cardinals in a game that we need pretty badly. The focus is high, even with any outlying factors, and we'll be ready.
Well, I'm sure I don't have to tell you guys. I mean, this division is right there for you guys and for everybody in the division. But as a fan, as an NFL fan, I mean, that's what makes it so exciting for us to watch these close races. I mean, for you guys as competitors, it's got to be fun that these games are so competitive.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, right now, like in the position that we're in the NFC West, it's like every game is a playoff game. Like you need every single one of those games, and you don't take those lightheartedly. So that's kind of our mindset and what we're going into it as, and just trying to be ultimately prepared so that when we get in these games, that there's no surprises, and then it goes as planned of what we want, and coming out with a win.
Tell us the game plan. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
You almost got me there. Yeah.
I was close, Katie. Almost. Dude, let's talk about a young Noah Fant. Like, just take us back to you growing up, your story, how you got here, how you fell in love with football in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing football since I was 8 years old. I wanted to be like my big brother who played D2 ball at Nebraska Kearney, and I went to all his games growing up. And yeah, man, I just kind of kept playing. Was obviously decent in high school enough to get a Division I scholarship to Iowa, and then got to Iowa, and they loved using the tight end, so that put me in a good spot for the NFL. And and here I am in year 6 of the NFL, and there's been ups and downs, but I've been blessed in every situation that I've been in. So it's been great, and
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here.
They call it tight end U, don't they?
Yeah, they do. It is.
Oh.
It's not. That's not what they call it. That's what it is.
Is the opposing locker room still pink at Iowa?
Oh yeah. Yep. Everything. The urinals, the lockers, the chairs, all that. Love it.
Wow. So funny. Hey, let's see here. We only got you for a short amount of time, so I want to make sure I get to all this stuff here. What's your most memorable touchdown of your life, of your football life?
Of my football life. I would say it's a tie. It's a tie between two of them. I had a going back to Nebraska. Obviously, I'm from Omaha. Left there and went to play at Iowa, which is a huge rival of UNL at Nebraska Lincoln. So we went back there, and I had like a 70-yard touchdown off of a flat route I took to the house, which was a really good feeling. And the second one was in the NFL my rookie year. I had to play against the Browns. I took 70 yards to the house, which was dope also. So those were probably my two favorite touchdowns.
Something about you and 70-yarders then.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything, but I'm saying something. Noah, we asked Twitter for some questions for you. So these don't come from me. This comes from Twitter. Okay.
This will be interesting then.
Well, their first question is just how you feeling and when are you coming back and how's everything going with you?
Yeah, no, I'm doing good. I've been on the road to recovery and feeling well. We're not sure, completely sure. I can't release too much about what's gonna happen this week or next week, but I'm well on the road back to recovery and feeling good with my groin. So it's been great.
Well, the point is the 12s want to see you out there because we got that question from a lot of people. Here specifically, this one comes in from Patrick Chiotti. What is the biggest difference for you since leaving Denver, between Seattle and Denver, I guess?
Oh man, I think that I came from in Denver, which I love Denver. Also, it was a great spot to play football. Fans are great, all that stuff. And then I came here to Seattle, and it's just like it's a difference up here, man. Like the 12s are a real thing. I remember like coming here for with Denver. It was for a preseason game, and it was one of the loudest stadiums even in the preseason. And so I got to be a part of that and come here with obviously Pete and now Mike. And the culture that he set, and it's been great, man. The fans are awesome, there's not a place like Lumen to play at in the NFL, so it's pretty cool.
The next one comes in from @LifeIsGood3. How are you feeling, and are you ready for a playoff push? Let's go.
That's our whole goal right now. Like we mentioned before, our mindset is treating all of these games like playoff games, so that we can. That's in the end game. That's the goal. That's the whole goal of the whole thing. So we're taking it very seriously.
We always end our thing here with 12 random questions. I know you don't have time for that, so I'm going to ask my two favorites. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Do aliens exist?
Yes, 100%.
And what is your favorite fruit?
Oh, that's a good one. I think my favorite fruit, just like that's tough. It would have to be peaches. I think I love peaches. I'm a big peach cobbler guy. But honestly, like again, shout out to Seattle and the Pike's Place Market. They have a fruit stand there in the market that has the best peaches when they're in season, and I go down there every year and get a bunch of them. I can't remember the exact name of the business, but they're phenomenal.
You're that Seattle guy, everybody. He's a Seattle guy. Noah, thank you again for your time, man. Thanks for sitting down. Go get them this weekend. If you wouldn't mind, we put our hands in the middle like you guys do after practice or, whatever, when you're warming up. Will you break us down tight end style?
Yeah, I got it. We just go tights on 3. 1, 2, 3, tights.
Thanks, man. Yep. See ya. Well, there he goes, everybody. Noah Fant. I'm not, man, wait, forget all that. There he goes, everybody. Noah Fant. Hopefully seeing him back on the field sooner than later. We need all the weapons we can get, producer Katie. We need them all. I promised you guys we'd do the giveaways here at the end of the show. Thank you so much for sticking with us to the very, very end. I have a Simply Seattle hat here, right here, that I'm going to draw the name of the winner of the Simply Seattle score prediction from this last weekend. It was the biggest pot I think we've ever had, $275, right, Katie? Wow. There were 3 finalists, 3 people that picked or that predicted the correct score. You can see the pieces of paper in here, everybody. The names are there. Do you have the names, Katie? Do you know who they were, so I can give everybody credit before I pull one out? I'll vamp for 1 second while Katie's pulling up her phone. Stay with us, everybody. Thank you guys, by the way, for entering the contest each and every time. It starts over this weekend with the Arizona Cardinals, and we'll be picking a new winner shortly. Katie, yeah, who are the 3 finalists?
Ace_Awakener 121.
Okay.
Lori L. Gain.
Okay.
And Lana Gilbert.
All right. Shout out to you guys. Thanks for entering the contest. All of these predictions were given pre-kickoff. It's all legit. We've double checked it, triple checked it, quadruple checked it. Right, Katie?
Sure have.
The winner is, drum roll, please. Lana Gilbert. Lana Gilbert, you are the winner of the Simply Seattle gift card. Thank you so much for entering. Quickly, this white melon hat will get sent to, thank you guys for entering the melon contest. It will get sent to Johnny, JONNYKUBICKI, Johnny Kubicki. There you go. Congratulations to all of you. Thanks for entering the contest. We love you so much. At All Day Family on Instagram, at All Day Pod on Twitter. Shout out to Noah Fant for being here. Shout out to Ed Smith. You guys can find him on the Believe in Arizona Cardinals podcast, or also the EZ sports talk show. Man, I've done a lot of talking
you did great.
today.
Thanks, Brett.
We hope everybody gets their power back soon in Seattle. We know you guys are going through it up there. Our thoughts and shit, I'm really just all over the place. Hold on. Fuck.
Just say thanks for being here.
Can you delete it if
No.
you erase it? You can't delete anything? Dang, man. Thank you so much for listening. Whether you have power or you don't have power, we know everybody's going through a lot up there. Hopefully the Seahawks can give us all something to cheer about this weekend. We love you. Stay safe. We're thinking about you. For everybody around the All Day Podcast, Katie, Lofa, Michael, McNasty, and everybody else, I'm Brett. See you on the live on YouTube after the game.